Endicott, Sean Hoppy, Jean Namu and Stacey Jones, the three-quarters. And the forwards, Brady Malem, Sid Eru, Joe Vagana, Dennis Betts, Steve Carney and Logan Swan. And on the bench for the Warriors, Mark Horrow, Mark Ellis, Tony Twimavave and Owen Guttenbeil, and the coach is Frank Endicott. Is at full back, Jonathan Scales, Danny Peacock, Kevin Crothers in the centre, of course Paul Lachlan has been listed, Abi Akoku, Graham Bradley and Robbie Paul. Bulls forwards, Brian McDermott, Nathan Graham in place of the injured James Lowes, Paul Anderson, Mike Forshaw, Sonny Nicol and Steve McNamara. And on the bench, Jeremy Doniger, Jeff Wittenberg, Tahi Rahana and Paul Medley. No Bernard Dwyer, who was expected to be named there, injured as well. Matthew Elliott, the coach for the Bradford Bulls.
Home side in the first half, but I'll check that in just a moment with our sideline Andrew Voss. But Auckland getting first touch of the football and they bring it 15 metres away from their own line. Bradford is going to have to defend and defend very strongly if they're going to be a contest against the home side tonight. Their confidence will be very, very high following that test match victory last Friday night. They bring it beyond the 30-metre line with Malem, and Eru is the dummy half. Jones offers the decoy. Betts, of course, needs no identification for our English audience. Dennis has been a pillar of the Auckland achievements. And this kick is going down to a point just outside the Bradford line and 15 metres out from their own line. It was carried back there by the Bradford number 9, Kevin Crothers, the youngster who joined Bradford from Dewsbury. Those two clubs, Bradford and Dewsbury, getting together to try and make their presence felt, even more so in Super League. The 17 is Paul Anderson, probably the biggest of the Bradford forwards.
And so important this evening that Bradford get away to a good start, no mistakes in their own territory. The end of their season was a little bit disappointing by their standards. Now they need to pick themselves up for the rest of this World Club Challenge as Bill Harrigan finds the first penalty of the game. It's inside the 10 against the Auckland Warriors. It's a very good penalty for the Englishmen because it came late in their tackle count.
Some late changes in the Bradford side. They've lost their hooker, James Lowes, who was named the Man of Steel, Player of the Year over there. So it goes without saying his presence is going to be, or his absence is going to be felt tonight.
Certainly one other thing I feel for the Bradford side is that the removal of Robbie Paul, who's virtually a specialist fullback come 5'8" in the halfback role. Hopefully when he does get the ball, he'll run it a lot more than we'll see the other players that do switch to the halfback role just stand and pass.
So Bradford with the first opportunity. They're about 15 metres out from the Auckland line and a penalty against the defence. So Bradford will take this kick at goal. It couldn't have been given in a better position. And McNamara will come across. In fact, has the decision been made? Steve Kearney questioning the ruling by Bill Harrigan.
Gee, that's a pretty tough penalty. Malem did take a little while to get off, but he certainly didn't push down in the tackle again.
I thought the penalty might have actually gone against the Bradford player because he put the ball down before it actually got off the ground.
Steve McNamara with this early penalty shot.
How's that fire going, Rabs? You haven't seen any flames looking up here. Mate, if I see any, you know, then I'll be here with you. Either that or going straight through this window in front of us.
McNamara, one of only a few players that eclipsed the 200 mark in the 1996 summer season. No problem. So there it is. It took him a fair while to line it up and eventually execute the kick, but Bradford, after 3 minutes of play, lead Auckland by 2 points to 0. In front of a fairly disappointing crowd here at Ericsson. But both sides of the fence represented. Even though that lone Englishman with the Union Jack on his back was quite outnumbered by the members of the Maori haka performance. McNamara then gets us going into the second segment of play, and Stephen Kearney brings it back 25 metres away from his own line. Auckland have been very good in the Visa Club Challenge. Joe Vagana, Gary Freeman, of course, who captained New Zealand on 46 occasions.
19.
He will undoubtedly get the pronunciation of Vagana correct. But now it's gone across from Namu through to Jones and away on the left of the ground. It's back in with Stacey Jones now. Endicott got involved, and now they're 7 or 8 metres into Bradford's area as the penalty goes to the home side.
Keep the hands down. None of this business. Keep your hands down.
Well, both Graham Bradley from Bradford and Matthew Ridge being spoken to by the referee. Adelaide holding the man down. Stacey Jones way too long in the tackle. Now Sidiru. Dummy behind 2 players, and they come wide through Namu straight away. Betts involved.
Betts forced to play the ball 28 metres away from the line. Namu at acting half. Kearney ahead. Tries to spin away from Anderson. Nicol and Bradley come in, and the dummy half has run into a player that was not directly in front. It was Big Anderson, so Matthew Ridge will undoubtedly take the shot and level it up at 2 points all.
He couldn't help himself, could he? Big Paul Anderson. He tried for a little while not to put the arms down and commit himself to the tackle. Very smart dummy half work here. And Anderson, if he'd have just backed off and got away, would have been called play on. But Eru is a very good dummy half runner. We saw that last week. Ridge, no problems at all to make it 2 all.
You just see things turning now, can't you, Sterlo, with them playing the ball a lot quicker, the Warriors. They're getting up very, very quickly, and that's resulting in the penalty.
So 2 points all after 6 minutes, Auckland and Bradford.
Behind.
Ridge starting it for us one more time. And this is coming off the right wing, Koku.
Yeah, there's been a change in the starting lineup that we were given as Sonny Nicol knocks on. Koku was named on the wing, and Crothers are swapping positions on that side. As a chance now again. Bad pass from Eru. Stephen Kearney finally picks it up and pushed back 5 or 6 metres.
Kearney on the 30-metre line. Bradford's end of the ground. And this is Malum. A quick look down the blind, a forward pass, I thought, to Swan. It's been put down, so referee Bill Harrigan will put a scrum down.
Yeah, some sloppy work there from Sidiru on a couple of occasions. I'll expect better of him from dummy half than that. And in our program, we had Kevin Crothers named in the centres. He's actually on the wing. Koku comes into the centre. Pretty talented family, the Koku family. He's the brother of Abby who's out there now. Effin is a striker for the Wimbledon side in the Premier Soccer League in England.
Now, Andrew Voss is with us on the sidelines tonight. The breeze, firstly, Andrew, which side is it favouring? And, of course, both sides having a rather, what shall I say, disadvantageous preparation for the game.
That's 100% right. The breeze for this first half over the shoulders of the Auckland players, but just on the Bradford preparation, it was more or less an Australian preparation, if you like. They've actually only been in New Zealand for a day. They spent the previous 4 or 5 days training at a Shark Park at Cronulla. And in that time they were in New Zealand, they lost James Lowe's, their hooker, with a groin injury, so that was a savage blow for them.
This is Robbie Paul getting away from dummy half before firing it away. Forshaw puts it on the ground. The grubbing kick has been taken in by Hoppy, and the follow down the ground, the chase from Bradford, quite good.
That was a poor kick there from Forshaw. They had some good momentum going the Bradford side, especially through Paul Anderson, who shrugged off a couple of defenders. Really, the kick was way too shallow, didn't put any pressure on, and now Auckland working out of their own 20. Not under too much pressure. That's Swan getting involved.
Swan again, the back rower. And this would be tackle number 5, called by Bill Harrigan on the 40-metre line for Auckland. 2 points all. The goal kickers have been the contributors to the scoreboard, and that kick is very good, and it's done everything they wanted it to do. Now, Spruce, regarded by many as the best fullback playing the game out of Great Britain. And the sound of Harrigan's whistle again. We'll see Bradford easily away from their 10-metre line. Ridge, what's he saying?
I was pretty impressed with Stuart Spruce when I saw him in the games earlier this year. Lee Odenrine, the man deemed to have pushed the fullback back onto the ground. McNamara steps up. They pick up a lot of ground here, but enough to just get away from their own try line. In fact, he's lost ground. Strong wind out there, Rabs.
That's the penalty you're having when you're not having a penalty, really. Hasn't advantaged his side at all. Now Sonny Nicol, just outside his own 30-metre line, and pulled down eventually by Dennis Betts. Coming in over the top, Endicott. Graham, the acting half. As I pointed out, and Andrew has reiterated, James Lowe's injured in preparation for the game. Now, from the halfway line, McNamara fires the pass towards Ikoku, who puts it down. It seemed to be okay.
Well, I thought the ball
will go down just on the Auckland side of halfway.
I thought the ball had actually travelled forward by about a half a yard there, or half a metre in today's terminology, but I think the Bradford side, they started to turn the ball back inside the play before, and they've just got to go one more past the blind side of the Warriors. They're just not moving up in defence whatsoever, so they might be able to catch them down that short side.
Auckland winning the scrum. Namu shows it once and then cuts out Ridge. We're going across the ground to Anthony Swan, the centre three-quarter. This is Hoppy angling play away from the sidelines and taking it more towards centre of the ground, 40-metre line, Bradford's end, Stacey Jones, and offload then for Betts, and Betts is able to improve the position about 5 metres. Now Vagana inside the 30-metre line, able to get it away. Here's the very fast Lee Odenrine. He in fact was flirting with the sideline. Touch judge was right on top of it. Eru, Jones behind Betts, into Namu, back on the inside. Kearney, not held, looks around for support. 5 tackles gone, 7 metres out from the line, 2 points all. Ridge on the right-hand side. Jones, a pass that stopped Hoppy. He had to go back to get it in. Now Namu was pulled down, and that'll be the turnover.
It was pretty good scrambling defence here by the Bradford Bulls. They really did work pretty hard there. They slid very well on the Auckland side. They really did come up with the wrong option. They probably should have put a kick in behind them and come up with another set of 6.
And they nearly caught out Scales there. If he hadn't have had to stop and wait for that football, he scores a try. So I didn't read it particularly well. They were just a little bit lucky that the pass wasn't as well directed as they would have liked. Bradford now through Robbie Paul, the captain, taking it forward, throws the dummy, looks for Koku. He brushes off 1 or 2, picks up 3 or 4 metres and throws a pass.
Robbie Paul. The good effort out there by the captain. Really wasn't expecting the ball to come back from Koku. A penalty now.
Interesting to see here, Bill Harrigan has ruled that there were 2 in the tackle with the ball being stripped. The Auckland Warriors players obviously didn't believe that was the case. Stacey Jones and Lee Odenrine shrugged aside. Well, for mine, there was only 1 in the tackle when the ball came loose, and that was Stacey Jones. Should have been play on.
McNamara's line finder. And the tap to restart us just inside the Auckland 40-metre line. This is McDermott, has represented. Paul, a long pass across for McNamara. It looked forward to Anderson. He's upended and put away right in the centre of the ground, 28 metres out. And again McNamara with players running around him enthusiastically. Bradley is put down. Graham Bradley, 20-metre line, underneath him, right in the centre of the ground, as Graham tries to step his way through. He made it to the 10-metre line, 4 tackles gone. On the left, it's with McNamara, tries to aim Peacock through a hole, and Peacock is put down on 5 metres out from the line. McNamara, a little grubbing kick, trying to beat Matthew Ridge, but many have tried and failed before him. As Ridge makes a run across the ground and then straightens it. And Auckland back into a safer region, although they are still in their red zone. This is Betts. 2 points all, a penalty to McNamara, and that was equalised shortly after by Ridge. And the hand has been found on the ball by Bill Harrigan, and a penalty goes to the Auckland side.
Just really slowing things down there, Anderson. Just taking a little bit too long. I think Dennis Betts said, well, mate, you know, just slow it down a bit, but not that much.
Eru. Now the gunner. Able to offload. Good work. Spoilt by Eru, that's a penalty. Bad luck for Lee Oden, Ryan. He was the innocent party, but he's got to take the blame anyway.
Well, it was a little bit like earlier on when Anderson couldn't help but make the tackle. This time he couldn't resist catching the footy. Again, not a particularly strong kick in finding touch for the Bradford side, but they've started well. The defence has been fairly firm as Anderson again takes it forward, and that's a very good charge of 10 metres. So they've got the start they wanted, and that's by getting their defensive line in a pretty good formation.
McNamara turning it back into the centre for McDermott. Then away from Graham on the right again for McNamara, who's busy. Spruce is with it now. The only thing that McNamara might think of doing is running himself a little bit more just to keep them guessing. This is Crothers. Graham into the hands of his captain, and Paul is able to get through the defence and then pulled down by the last line. This is the last tackle. McNamara again keeps it low, and then Stacey Jones leaning down to his left, bringing it in and taking it out to the 10-metre line.
Well, Bradford's short kicking game at this end of the field has been awful. A couple of occasions now they've tried to put it through. Stacey Jones, Matthew Ridge getting in the way, but the kicks haven't been well directed. Imagine that next time they come down there, put one up in the air and make it a lottery. Swan takes it over the 30.
Twice they've played, as I said, in the Visa Club Challenge. At Odsal it was Auckland by 4 points, 20 points to 16.
Once again, giving away a penalty there, unnecessary. She just got off the play as quick as possible, foreshore there.
Now, Brady Mallon to the 20-metre line. Eru for Jones. Now for Namu, behind Vagana, Betts out wide. That looked to come off the arm of one of the Aucklanders. It went forward, and he's going to play the knock-on and put the scrum down. At the 17th minute, it's 2 points all, Auckland and Bradford.
Play the ball, go forwards, get away quick, roll away, no hands in there. Right to left there.
Bradford winning the scrum and about to cross their own 30-metre line with Sonny Nicol. We've got a couple of fellows in this side that look like athletes. In fact, the man on the right wing, Akoku, has got a tremendous physique. Now, McNamara, short ball up for Anderson, who's done a lot of the hard work for Bradford. They've built a lot of their go forward around Anderson. Robbie Paul then a chip and a chase. He brought the problem on himself when he ran into the back of Stephen Kearney. He didn't even bother to appeal for a penalty. Oden ran away from dummy half, and again another penalty. That would be, I think, the 9th in the game.
Well, in fact, she's number 10, double figures now, Rabs. And only 20 minutes of football, so both sides having trouble maintaining pressure because they are giving away way too many penalties. Good kick there for touch from the Auckland Warriors. They take it 38 out. And Wagner, who's been very, very good early on, stumbles to pick up 5 or 6 metres.
Error. Away through Jones. Namu dummies to Betts, tries to slice through. He's on the 30-metre line. They keep coming to the right. Kearney was there, willing and able. In for Jones. Jones will score. Stacey Jones behind the uprights. They finally crack Bradford. Was there a little question mark on the pass from Stephen Kearney? If it was forward, it was minutely forward. 6-2 Auckland over Bradford after 19.
Marvellous on his feet for a big man, isn't he, Stephen Kearney? Great evasion off both feet. There, just takes 2 out of the line with some side-stepping. I've got no troubles with the pass to Stacey Jones. And how often this season, when Auckland have put it together, has that combination come to the fore? Kearney making the bust and finding the little halfback in support.
Yeah, great work there, but the Bradford players going low on the big fella and Steve Kearney, you just can't do that. Near the line, you've got to make sure you go for the ball, put some pressure on the guy who's going to pass it, watch the big step off his left and off his right, the big inside ball, let Spruce nowhere to go really. He didn't know if Kearney was going to go right through or not, picked up Stacey Jones, and mate, they're just carrying on from last week where they have played so well.
So Ridge successful with the conversion, and Auckland leading Bradford by 8 points to 2 midway through the first half. Not such a bad night in Auckland weather-wise, as Matthew Ridge restarts this next session or next segment of play. That is foreshore. Second row forward for the Bulls. Scales playing on the left wing. Big lump of a lad. Anderson rolls it outside the 30-metre. I haven't got a personal count on him, but I'll tell you what, he's made plenty of metres. His go forward has been very, very good, Anderson.
Yeah, that's his 7th hit up already. He's been by far Bradford's best player. He's been a real handful every time he's taken it up. Graham Bradley now getting involved. They're looking to get Bradley and Peacock into the game as much as possible, the Englishman. It's McNamara. Again gets a kick in, this time behind Sean Hoppy, but he'll have a few problems in picking it up. 9 out from his own line. Links up with Ridge. Plenty of confidence in the Auckland back 3. Ridge taking centre field, 15 out.
Andrew Voss on the sideline.
Well, a fear of Matthew Elliott, the Bradford coach, going into tonight's match was that his side is capable of conceding back-to-back tries in a quick hurry. That's what happened earlier this year when they played that match over here, the 64-14 scoreline. At one stage in that match, Bradford conceded 5 tries in 20 minutes, so they have to really sharpen up after they've conceded 1 try.
The winner of this match will progress to next weekend and take on the winner of Brisbane and St Helens tomorrow night. Of course, the other 2 quarterfinals are being played in England as Ridge keeps it alive. Jones with quick hands away for Kearney. Kearney's looking for Jones again. He finds Namu instead. In fact, he said, well, you'll do, and Namu puts his head back and he'll score. Well, Andrew has only just finished talking about the likelihood of tries back-to-back. It's been reiterated. But in practice, in the best possible way by the Aucklanders, Gene Namu capitalising on this marvellous player, Stephen Kearney.
And maybe Bill Harrigan contemplated an 8-point try at the end of this. He had stern words with one of the Bradford defenders at the death. Kearney again, the big left foot step. Keeping the ball alive, Namu. Spruce, well, he had no idea which way Namu was going. Let's just have a look if there are knees involved at the end here. Not too bad, but the referee was a little bit concerned that The knee was near the try scorer. Tough man to contain, Stephen Kearney, and the little blokes, they like to trail, and why not? Namu gets the second.
Well, he might get the second, but what about all the blokes that are backing him up at the same time? There's about 4 or 5 of them, Sterlo, as he kicks the goal. Reggie right underneath the black dot. They don't come any easier there, but they are playing the ball a lot quicker than the Bradford side. Willie's putting them under too much pressure.
14-2, the Warriors over the Bulls. Gary Freeman joining us in commentary tonight, along with Peter Sterling. As
Number 17, Paul Anderson on the bench.
Harrigan goes across to have a look and see whether he should be enforcing a blood bin. It's Big Joe. And Bill Harrigan is quite happy that he doesn't have to be sent from the field. And, oh, what an awful mistake. Well, heavens above, you'd have to look at it 3 or 4 times to work out what's happened here. One thing that has happened, they've made a total mess of it.
Graham came up with the football, the hooker at the end of it.
Right.
Knocked down.
Whoops. Who? Here.
Ruled that the second man knocks on.
I don't know if he did knock on there, Sterlo. Goes through his feet. I think let's play on. It was good footwork.
You can't be offside in your own in goal. Let's make that point.
That's right.
On this line.
Rayhana is on for Bradford, formerly with the Western Reds, who were shut down by Super League only yesterday, for the benefit of our overseas audience tonight. This is Brady Mallam. 12 out from the line. Is try number 3 coming? Let's hope not, as it goes across quickly to Jones. Ridge into the back line, makes the extra man and fires a bullet-like pass into the crowd.
Well, they started to slide there, the Bradford Bulls. They come up off their line, only about 4 or 5 metres. Just watch it out here, goes nice and wide. Joe Vergara goes to the line. They pick up the 3rd man, which is Stacey Jones. The ball goes out to Ridgie. He knows he's got to run straight and draw the man. That ball is hit Odenrine. That is a dead set try, number 3.
Yeah, well, I've got to blame Lee Odenrine there. It was way too flat. And if there has been a criticism of the Auckland attack this evening, it's been the fact that we have seen quite a few forward passes or near forward passes thrown, which tends to demonstrate that they are not getting deep enough. On that occasion, Odenrine was way too flat for Matthew Ridge to pick him up with a decent pass.
Bradley. Peacock hasn't... Oh! Big shoulder charge by Vergara. Now Nickel taken away. Here it is again.
He's had a great start to the game, has he? Just lined him up. Hasn't had a great start just because of that tackle. Has helped McNamara. Gets probably his best kick in of the game. Chase, not too bad. And I'll come up with the tackle on Odenrine. Well, 15 out from his own line. Make that 20. He beat 1 or 2.
Richard Dunbar choosing to go away with Hoppy. These wingers for Auckland, of course, they can't be given any space. They're electrifying. Jones with an offload. Swan backs him up. He strides out to the 20. Crothers will get him. Will he hold him? Puts the ball over the line. Does it? Bill Harrigan looking at it and calling for the video referee.
I was around the other side of the post.
He couldn't see it, Bill is saying. I was around the other side of the posts.
Well, if Swan hasn't scored here, it's a bomb try because he had a man in support unmarked for probably the last 20 or 30 metres. There you can see it, Sean Hoppy on the other side. This should be a perfect way of having a look. He scored. I don't think he has.
No.
Eventually he did.
How long are you allowed to hold it up for, Sterlo?
I don't think that long. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a try is awarded, but on my first look, it's a no try. Too long in the air.
Going back to that player that was backing him up was Sean Hoppy, and he certainly would have scored and made it a lot easier.
Here it is again, Gary.
The replay. You can see Sean Hoppy there on his right. He was unmarked for all money. All he had to do was offload the ball.
Ball doesn't touch the ground at that point. And I don't know that it touches the ground here.
No.
But his progress appears halted. Don't be surprised if he's penalised for a double movement here. That ball probably has brushed the turf before he has advanced it. I I wouldn't be surprised if there's a penalty comes out of this for double movement.
I think the ball's been held up by the post.
Yeah,
I don't think it's even touched the ground.
And it's tough to work out how long it is because we're looking at it in slow motion. I tend to think it's been held up too long for it to be a try.
Well, here it is. Stand by. It is no try. And he's given the penalty for double movement. And I think the man in the box got it absolutely right.
And I've got to say I've never seen that before. I don't mean a double movement, I mean that kind of miss. Really, it was the post that was holding the ball up.
Yes, at normal speed.
It's a very, very strange one, isn't it? But I agree, I think he's got it right.
This is Forshaw, an offload. Well done. Paul goes across the ground. Ikoku. And driven into the ground. That big frame of his. Lifted by Betts and Vagana. Crothers. To his credit, let's not forget, he was the man that put the chase on. And he's got to be given full credit for number one persisting and preventing the try for Logan Swan. Good work by him. He's only a youngster. Crothers, this is him following down the ground, trying to prevent Ridge from making any easy yards. And Ridge will play it back on his 20-metre line. Now, this is Endicott. One of the few players not involved in that test match last Friday when they absolutely pummeled the Australians. They should be very proud of their achievement here last Friday. I don't think either had a good preparation, but they accepted the challenge and they came out of it better. Nobody can deny that. Kearney again. Look at him brushing away from some very feeble tackling and still able to get it away. Namu, if he's smiling, he should be. Hoppy's away. Oh, Stephen Kearney. I know the defence has been at times puerile, but he is a class act. And Gene Namu, Stacey Jones, and now Sean Hoppy, they would have to agree.
Proving virtually unstoppable, Stephen Kearney. And so difficult to wrap up. That's the big thing that you've got to do with him, is make sure you attack the football in the first place. But he's so strong and so powerful that that's easier said than done. The short ball to Namu looked as though it was about to break down there, but a great pass finds the winger, Paul Medley, who's just come on for the Bradford side. He was turned around with the pass from Gene Namu. And this again just shows the strength of the man. Just playing with them, isn't he?
He certainly is. He's having a great game. A good little offload there. Gene Namu backing up. I thought it was dead and buried, as you said before, Sterling, just there. But Sean Harpy staying alive, and Paul Bentley had no chance whatsoever to come up with a tackle against Sean Hoppy. Well, that's just another nail in the coffin for Bradford.
And Matthew Ridge extends that lead. So Auckland Warriors 20, Bradford Bulls 2, becoming a little bit embarrassing at the 29th minute. So Matthew Ridge getting plenty of kicking practice tonight with the rules of Super League. It's a Sonny Nicol.
I think Matthew Allen will be a little bit disappointed at his side. They really are just arm grabbing in the defence. Not really putting their shoulders in there to try and make some tackles and make them stick.
Groan from the crowd. High tackle on McNamara. Some of them felt that. The referee didn't. As Bradley works off a pass from Robbie Paul. It's a cross now for Graham, or Forshaw it was. No knock on there as Bradford work it to the 40-metre line on the other end of the ground. Medley got involved for a moment. Another loose pass. It'll be play on. 6 more tackles, but he too is knocked on.
Then he got a knock on.
Yeah,
McDermott knocked on in the final wash-up. But just wondering which way this feed is going to go. There's no advantage.
It'll go Auckland's way because of the last knock-on, you would think. And I can't see a knock-on there. I thought it came off his foot.
Betts picking it up at the back of the scrum and sending off a pass to nobody. The big man in number 4, Ikoku. He looked like he might be able to gallop, and I'll tell you what, he can over a short course. He took 3 steps from the 20-metre line and he was over.
And a very bad pass there from Dennis Betts allows Ikoku to get the first 4-pointer for the Bradford side, and glad that we got to see him in the clear to some degree. Powerful runner, good leg drive, getting away from Stacey Jones. I'd like to see him with maybe 50 or 60 in front of him. He might be tough to catch over that distance as well.
Yeah, I don't know why the Auckland Warriors are really pushing the passer at the base of the scrum. Betts are, of course, throwing that ball out, but off the mark, very, very quick. Stacey Jones is no slouch, let me tell you, and he just didn't make 1 yard on him whatsoever.
Abby Ikoku.
He's been a late convert to rugby league. I think he's in his early 30s. Hasn't played a lot of rugby league. He pointed out, got a more illustrious brother. Decided to come across and play for Bradford, and fond memories of getting their first try in this quarter-final.
McNamara then from right in front, 10 metres out. He's got legs on him bigger than Sterling and Freeman put together. Their entire body. Anyway, here's McNamara with a chance to convert Bradford's first try. Let's hope there's some more there for them.
Steve McNamara takes the extra points.
And the scoreboard, 20 points to 8. Auckland leading comfortably at the 32nd minute. It all started down there with a set play from the back of the scrum involving Dennis Betts. It was a shocking pass by a man who once was described as the best footballer in Great Britain, and I'm not arguing with that, but Ikoku capitalised for Bradford.
It does sum up what this Auckland side are capable of. Like they're on a roll. They play some great football when they get their tails up, and then some silly mistakes. And that's the reason why they were unsuccessful in the Telstra Cup this year. You just can't make errors like that, or you'll pay the penalty. And too often this year they did exactly that.
This is Guttenbeil, who's 25 metres out from his own line. And now Mark Horrow has played internationals for New Zealand, had quite a lengthy stint in Australia, and was with the Parramatta Club from memory. Cross now on the left is Jones working with Ridge, a little juggle by Jones and then hit by Ikoku. Right on the halfway line. Well, we've seen plenty of tries, and from the Auckland point of view, they've been generated almost exclusively by Stephen Kearney, who prior to Matthew Ridge has captained this Auckland side at a very tender age. Betts back to the benches.
On the ground, kick it with a foot. Wait till it's kicked, fellas.
And also back to England at the end of this season. He had another year or two to go on his contract with Auckland, but he's been given permission to return to the English game. As the Bradford side now look to get a little bit closer before the half-time break. That's Forshaw with a good charge. Their confidence obviously lifted by that try. Now Paul Medley breaks a couple of tackles.
38 metres away from the Auckland line. Robbie Paul gets a call from McNamara to hit the blind side. McNamara is able to unload, and going in to score is Graham Bradley. So Bradford have hit back with tries coming up to half-time. It'll be converted from right in front.
Number 3, Graham
And 20 points to 12 now. It'll be 14 in a moment.
Now, I'm not sure whether the accelerator has gone down for Bradford or it's come off the pedal for the Auckland side. Some good charges leading up to this. Paul Medley getting involved, and then a very, very simple try scored against Auckland. And as I said earlier, they can do this. Just going across field, throws the little dummy, and the pass back inside. Graham Bradley hasn't had many touches in the game, but all of a sudden, a little bit more of a contest here. They'll be within a converted try.
Did you tell me off air that you were playing, or you played against Medley when you were in England?
Yeah, way back in the mid-80s. He's been around. That was in his Leeds days. He started off as a youngster there, earning quite a reputation as well. Can you believe it?
Oh, he got it.
Just gone through.
He got it.
Bradford take the extra 2 points.
Yeah, Medley's been around a long time, been to a couple of clubs.
They got him down as 31.
4 minutes to go.
Well, he'd have been a 17 or an 18-year-old when I first saw him. He was a centre at that stage, and that's been one of the attractions for Paul Medley in his career, is the fact that he moved to the back row with very good speed.
The way you were talking earlier, I thought he must have been playing first grade when he was 12.
No, he wasn't that good, huh?
He's been tagged as the super sub these days, but has played hooker, and as Peter just said, has played centre. But he had a very big part in laying the foundation for that try, no matter what age he might be. Now it's Guttenbeil with a charge, almost to the 30-metre line. Eru back on the right for Horro to gain about 7 or 8 metres and take it to the 40-metre line before playing it back to Eru. Running onto the ball is Swan. Now they're on the halfway line. Half-time, about 2.5 minutes away, and here's the destroyer, Kearney, 38 metres off the line now. One of the few occasions he didn't unload. Ridge, then Jones. The ball goes straight up and down. Odin Ryan was after it. The bounce has come down favourably for Bradford. And they will resume play from just outside the 20-metre line with one of the try scorers, Ikoku, who takes them on and spins it back. And that is Graham on the 30-metre line. The players in this game have been fairly quiet, players that I thought would be more in the game, and I'm talking mainly about Danny Peacock and the fullback Stuart Spruce, who left me with an impression when I saw him play and during this Visa World Club Challenge earlier in the year. Here's Sonny Nicol to the 30-metre line, and again they're starting to open them up, the Warriors. They have gone bye-byes for the time being. There's Peacock now, pulled down in a good tackle by Namu. McNamara is going to try the bomb now for the first time. Not a bad kick. The bounce has come down though for Odin Ryan, and now with Endicott, and 15 away from his own line. Tom-toms have been here.
Well, at least the kick on that occasion put some pressure on the Auckland side. Well cleaned up by Odin Ryan, and then Endicott. Mark Horro ducks the head and takes it outside the 30, and obviously now it's imperative that the Bradford side keep their line intact in this last minute and a bit.
Now the other thing too, Stella, is I think when Vagana's gone off the field, they've actually lost a little bit of their go forward and their strike power up the front, and they're really just dropping the ball at will and doing silly things to the Warrior side.
Cruthers just into opposition territory, foreshore.
We've got, I think it's McNamara hurt, 20 metres out from the Auckland line, so just 12 men in the attack now as Robbie Paul spins.
I think it's the other McDermott, Pete, as Medley goes away from dummy half, gets it just inside the red zone, Auckland's end of the ground, and as they score a couple of tries and the scoreboard is narrowed, they're playing with more confidence. This is Rehana. 12 metres out, Andrew Voss, yes, on the sideline.
They've made the call for the field goal from the sideline to get it to 20 to 15.
That's an interesting call, but the ball has gone down and the referee has spotted a knock on.
Okay, mate.
And there would be those that probably argue with this thought.
20 to 15.
I can't quite work that out myself.
No.
But anyway, they're not going to put the scrum down, and the half-time score, 20 points to 14. So 20 points to 14 after 40 minutes. The English Championship winners, Bradford. And it is Auckland starting right to left, second half, and we'll see whether Bradford could pick it up where they left it, or whether Auckland will slip back into top gear, a gear that carried them to an 18-point break. Just inside the 30-metre line then, first set of 6 for the Bradford side, and Anderson is back on in 17. He gave them a very good first 25 minutes. Nathan Graham in the side, replacing Lowe's, who was injured preparing for the game. And that in itself has been a very big minus for the Bradford side. Peacock plays it on the halfway. The pass, a question mark on it. McNamara, the 5'8", very much a pivot, either kicking or passing, doesn't run a lot. Well, hasn't in this game. And Ridge then back 8 metres before he meets the opposition. And Sean Hoppy, who got one try, offloads for Endicott with that left thigh heavily strapped. Back on their own end of the park now. Hoppy waits to be the runner away from the play of the ball. Gets it just outside the red zone. Eru a dummy half, electing to go down the right with one of the Swans, Logan. Now a penalty will be given to Auckland. Offside against the Bradford side on Sid Eru.
He's just done that so well tonight, hasn't he? Every time he's found there'd been one marker there and the other one getting up slowly, he's decided to run from the marker area and catching someone trying to get back on side in time. Good work there by Sid Eru.
Gunner. Jones. And now Guttenreel hitting the line hard. Hit by Anderson and Nickel. But they are inside the 20-metre line and they're brewing up to something as Malum goes all the way. Well, they've gone back to where they were midway in the first half, Bradford. Very ordinary tackling. It got them into bother in the first half. To their credit, they have clawed their way back a little bit, but now they've lapsed back into bad habits.
And they've done so after only 2 minutes of this second half. Graham just got brushed completely off there. An awful attempted tackle. Brady Malum just hit the ball forward. He won't score a softer try in his career. It'll be interesting to see what Andrew Voss has picked up at half-time. One thing I'm sure that Matthew Elliott would have wanted was to be a very good 5 or 10 minutes to start the second half off from his side. An awful way to get proceedings underway.
The other thing that might be said is that the fullback was defending very close to his own line as Matthew Ridge converts, and so the Auckland side has picked up in the second half, extended just that little bit, put their mind on the job. 26-14.
Well, really, it all goes back to that dummy half area where Sid Eru did dart out quickly and got the quick penalty. And then these guys here, once they get a big roll on the Bradford line, they're not just moving up in defence. They've got no vigour in their defence whatsoever. So they are struggling. They're just standing still and players are coming at them.
Andrew Voss.
Well, Sterlo's 100% right about the message from Matthew Elliott. He really did think the first 5 or 10 minutes of this second half was where the match would be won or lost. And just looking at him, he just cringed when he saw the replay of that try. He was very positive, though, it must be said, in the sheds. His chief concern, though, was that the Bulls weren't shutting down the ball, that they had to put in a greater effort to prevent the Warriors offloading. And from Frank Endicott, he was bitterly disappointed with the last 10 minutes of that first half. He wanted his team to start again, recapture the go forward they had early in the game. And his last message was, we're not over the line yet, but an error like that one from the Bulls certainly helps the Warriors' cause.
Well, actually, I think this is going to go against the Warriors. Bill Harrigan has picked up a knock-on from the home side.
That's right. I think you'll find that they actually knocked the ball down and away from the Bradford player, but it was in fact a knock-on by Auckland. That can happen. Ray Hana. Remember watching Bradford earlier in the year, and I made the comment then, he really put in a very good performance for them. They travelled down to Australia in the earlier part of the Visa World Club Challenge that you're watching now at 26-14, and Auckland leading, and Bradley, who scored a try for them just before half-time. There's Endicott watching this side that, as Andrew pointed out, he was bitterly disappointed. Why wouldn't he be? They conquered rugby league's mountain. Here's a chance, but now the arms in the air from Harrigan.
Yeah,
He's tackled him up in the air without the pill.
We hear Bill Harrigan there applying the new Super League rule that you're not allowed to attack the man catching the football when he's up in the air. And that's a perfect example of it there. Sean Hoppy, feet off the ground, was taken by the tackler.
Namu firing it over towards the people in the bleachers on the far side of the ground. And now Brady Malem down about 26 metres out from his own line. Sean Hoppy trying to force the tackler away to get a quick play, the ball going. Wagana, who played very strong in that portion of the game when Auckland asserted their authority. That is Swan out in the centres. Very nippy, very quick off the mark. I think that is Guttenbeil underneath the tackle. 40-metre line, Bradford's end of the ground. Now Kearney, there's the hit and the offload. Ridge goes back to clean it up, make it look better than it was. Namu on, Guttenbeil again, and 35 metres away from the Bradford line. Auckland going down the short side with Logan Swan getting a pass away, taken in and pushed down and away to Kearney. They keep it alive. They're going backwards. They're back on the 40. Namu puts a correction on that. Goes down the right flank, puts a kick in, back towards the centre of the ground. The bounce is not good, but back there for it is Medley. And it'll be a line dropout. Well, it was really awful play by Auckland.
With a great result.
Yes, exactly.
Last tackle, desperate to keep the ball alive. And Gene Namu, a very intelligent kick at the end of this. He goes back to the right-hand side of the field. He sees in the middle that nobody is at home. Paul Medley, who's playing on the wing, comes across. The bounce was a good one for the Auckland side. And Medley succumbs fairly meekly, and they'll get the ball back through the line dropout.
All behind.
And basically, the Bradford side, they should have actually knocked that back about 20 or 30 metres back. The blind side should have just kept moving up on that left-hand side, where, of course, Gene Namu went back to kick the ball. They just stood there.
Get up, Bobby, quick, don't roll.
Chewy Mavavi is on, in the place, I believe, of Brady Malem, and a penalty has been given.
That was way too long, Graham.
And Bill Harrigan saying way too long. Graham, who didn't retire 10 metres, then got involved in the play, allowed to get away with it. Hoppy played the ball quickly, and Chewy Mavavi is on the 10-metre line as Auckland look for another try. Eru a dummy half and another penalty.
Hey.
Well, if they have the necessary respect for the opposition here, they kick for goal. So things getting a little bit heated out there. They lead by 12. To make it 14 is a big advantage for Auckland, but we've already seen Matthew Ridge take a quick tap once. And now they go for the goal. The second chance.
Matthew Ridge will no doubt extend this lead for Auckland by a further couple of points. Graham Bradley just getting entangled verbally with the referee, and there's just no profit margin in that. I noticed that a youngster that did play with South Sydney, Jeremy Doniger, is on. In fact, he got involved in the argument that Bradley finished off with Harrigan. And now Ridge bolsters the lead even further. Another 2 points on the board, 28 points to 14 at the 48th minute in favour of the home side.
He certainly doesn't miss them that close to the line, that's for sure, with Matthew Ridge. It's 6 out of 6 now. I tell you what, the Bradford Bulls, are they going to give away penalties like that? That's so close in their own goal line. They're going to come away on a very, very bad end of the scoreline.
Andrew Jeremy Doniger, formerly with Souths, right?
Yes, right, with Souths, and then before that St George. Hasn't had much football though this year. I was talking to Matthew Elliott before the match. He's a player he was hoping would be part of the top grade squad throughout the season, but he had a fractured ankle, which certainly put him back a number of matches, had a couple of months off in fact, so it's been an injury interrupted season for him, but he was one of their best from the 96 season.
Bradford then trying to break beyond their 20-metre line. Oh dear, that's very sloppy play.
You dropped it.
Very sloppy play.
You just had to put your foot on it, would have been okay.
Well, I'm not quite sure what happened there. Did Robbie Paul just fall asleep at dummy half?
I think he's saying that the player who's playing the ball there, look, he's just put on the ground, he hasn't touched it with his foot, and then Robbie Paul's sort of going, what's going on? So he's saying he's dropped the ball.
He dropped the ball getting up. And as Bill Harrigan said, if he had to put his foot on it, it would have been okay. But he didn't do that. The bloke behind him did that. And, of course, he wasn't involved in the play-the-ball contest. So, technically, Harrigan got it right. It looked like it was just a Mexican standoff there for a minute, though. Nobody wanted to take part at all. 8 metres out from the line. Auckland now with a golden opportunity. Namu was able to unload. Jones backed him up. The two little men, when they've had their foot down, they've been very impressive, and over they go again. It's Swan who has scored. In fact, the lock forward, Logan Swan.
Well, they had their choice on the short side. Just have a look at the lack of defence over there. The cutout pass would have even made a bigger bird of it. And that does come from play the ball infringement only 2 rucks ago, where Bradford had just given away possession. Matthew Ridge realising that there's no problems on the short side. Medley came up with the tackle. Spruce came across late, not in time enough to stop the try scorer getting the ball down.
This is the most difficult kick that Matthew Ridge has been faced with tonight.
And the
right out on the far touch line, on the 20-metre line.
Sorry, Ray, I was just about to say the worst thing that's happened to Bradford tonight has been half-time.
Six from 6 for the Grandmaster. Can he keep it intact? Oh, the kick is absolutely beautiful. Oh, when he's on song, he's a treat to watch. 34-14. Matthew Ridge from behind, bringing it back and smack bang over the dot. They don't come any better than that. Restart time. 34-14. 20 points the margin. Bradford got approximately that far behind in the first half before they started to come back. I tend to think, though, Auckland relaxed. I'm wondering whether they'll do the same. It would seem the only way Bradford are going to have any hope is for Auckland to come off the accelerator again. Spruce. Bradley running at one of the small men, Jones. Got some help from Vagana on the halfway line there. 34 points to 14. It already looks ominous for Bradford. It could get much worse, though. Forshaw with a bumping run, and it was made possible for him by Anderson and the penalty.
Well, Forshaw gets his side a penalty, but gee, there was some good work again from Paul Anderson, who offloaded to Forshaw leading up to that. That came on the last tackle, so a great penalty here with McNamara about to find touch around the 40-metre line, 30-metre line. The winner of this game will play the winner of tomorrow night's match, Brisbane and St Helens. It'll take a minor miracle for Bradford to qualify for that one against their arch rivals. St Helens.
Spruce in from the back, and he's been in from the back all too infrequently. Here's Anderson again with a charge towards the line. Playing it back for Graham. On the bounce, it's with Robbie Paul. Holds it back and Peacock hits the line, loses the ball.
I thought there was just a crazy pass here by Robbie Paul. The guy was under enormous pressure there, was Peacock. He should have gone the other side. There are plenty of numbers on the left-hand side. Auckland Warriors right side. They should have just played the numbers all the time.
Robbie Paul has stayed down, being involved in a tackle there. Might have picked up some injury up around the eye area as Eru.
This is Logan Swan. 28 metres out from his own line. Eru puts them down the blind side. Namu's into space, full back to beat. He's turned him around 3 times. He unloads Tuamabavi. He's got support coming. It's Sid Eru, and he goes over to score. Well, you've got to give him 10 out of 10 for still being there. The hooker matching it with one of the speedsters in Namu. Tuamabavi was there as well. full marks to both of them.
It's just a great inside ball there by Sean Hoppe. He picks up Gene Namu. Does the right thing there. Tries to turn the fullback inside and out. Tumavavi. I thought he had the legs to go all the way. He just said, I'm just too tired with 5 metres to go. Drops the ball back inside his set, and he goes over for another Auckland try. Well, that's a great ball there, Sterling. The ball back inside by Hoppe. That virtually made the try. The Bradford players, they really did sprint out too fast out of the mark area. Look at Tumavavi go. This is the fastest he's ever, and the longest he's ever run in his life.
Well, I'll tell you what, he hasn't run too far or been too quick in his life.
I'll tell you what.
I like Tumavavi. I think he's a good player. He's a pretty talented player.
He's tough.
He's not the sort of bloke who scores many, but he's involved in a few. As Matthew Ridge, 100% record, finally comes to grief with that one miss.
Well, I'll tell you what, when he did pass that ball there, Tumavavi, I think he only had another about 3 or 4 yards to go. So watch the replay one more time. Just watch him. When he goes there, all he had to do, I think, was just hold the player off, and he was going to score for all money. Watch him there. He's striding out there, as you said. Look, he could have thrown the dummy, could have gone over himself.
It does look like he's fighting up a division or two, though, Tony Tumavavi. I could feel the vibrations up here.
He doesn't mind one of those either.
Anyway, Auckland with a lofted restart, and Odin Ryan tries to out-jump Crothers. But there's trouble brewing for Bradford. I mean, there's obviously trouble there already, but Auckland with their back up, their confidence high, and Bradford lapsing into another mistake. It's young Doniger, 38-14, 58 minutes. Ball propelled forward, then knocked on just to make double sure.
I haven't seen a lot of Robbie Paul in his career, and he's earned rave reviews for what he's been able to do in England over the last couple of seasons. But I have to say, despite the fact he's been dogged by injury during this season, I've been disappointed with what I've seen in the couple of matches he has participated in. I know he's out of position there tonight.
Namu for Jones, and Guttenbeil hit it hard. Ridge there to support and provide the ball wide for Odin Ryan. Now it is with Endicott, and forced down under the tackle, 10 metres out from the Bradford line. Ridge using the blind side, using Odin Ryan, doesn't need any of them. Matthew Ridge, they waited for him to pass. Quite simply, he didn't have to. They all stood back and formed a guard of honour.
It's an embarrassing try, this one, isn't it? The lead up to this, some nice interplay off Stacey Jones. Guttenbeil getting involved. Matthew Ridge throws the pass. Odin Ryan, he finds some support on the outside. There's plenty of defence on the blind side here. Certainly enough to stop the try being scored. Robbie Paul stays out on his man, and Graham Bradley made no effort whatsoever to get up off his line.
Yeah, I'd say you'd be very, very disappointed. That's the easiest try that Matthew Ridge will ever score. Really, Robbie Paul, I don't think he should have gone to Matthew Ridge and take it. You've got to take someone in defence. You just can't let them go and score tries at will.
Andrew on the sidelines.
Well, it's amazing, Ray, how history repeats, because in that match they played here earlier this year at Ericsson Stadium, the halftime score was 24-8, and in the space of 20 minutes it had blown out to 52-8, and it's headed that way at the moment. This third quarter of the match has been fateful for the Bulls. 3
tries in 7 minutes to be exact, Andrew.
Gosh, I think that game finished 64-14, so we've got one team on that score.
Well, Ridge has been kicking beautifully, 7 from 8, now 7 from 9, but even those that he's missed have been quite accurate. 42-14 as we break. People taking us through BSkyB and Fox Sports. We stay with you as we come back to the halfway point for the restart. Yes, Peter's already outlined Brisbane and St Helens tomorrow night. At 42-14, and Ridge again with this lofted restart. Now, did that go out on the full? It did. It's a penalty to Bradford at the centre. Mark Ellis has gone on for his first session in this game. Endicott is off, and Ridge giving Odin Ryan a chance down that side, but just a little bit full. after a gain of 10 metres. 42 points to 14 after an hour. They demoralised them here at Ericsson Stadium in their second clash of the year. As the boys have pointed out, it's looking very much as though it's a reenactment. Bradley, 10 metres out from the Auckland line. Crothers out from dummy half and then hit hard by Guttenbeil.
1-2 in the tackle, it was great.
Given the penalty to Bradford, 2 in the tackle. You can't rake the ball when there's more than one tackler. I've got to say about this fellow that I've only watched him as a replacement, Guttenbeil. He rolls his sleeves up. He plays the game very hard. Very good bench player. Probably better than that, really. Now, here's a chance for Graham from dummy half. Forced back. Robbie Paul's a dummy half now, looking for a runner. He goes with the long ball for Danny Peacock out wide. He loses it.
No, that one, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. He lost that one.
He hasn't had many touches either, Danny Peacock, tonight. And the referee ruling that he knocked this one himself. No help from the Auckland defence. And just on Guttenbeil, he obviously learned a good trade. He was a lower grader at Manly and realised that actually being a back row was going to be pretty tough to find a first grade spot. So he's moved to the Auckland Warriors. Again, has found it difficult to get into the top 13. He does play with plenty of fire and brimstone.
Robbie Paul has been sent to the blood bin by Bill Harrigan.
That's a blood bin.
He's got a scalp wound, which he was unaware of. Actually, the referee said to him, just wipe your forehead. And when he did, Bill Harrigan was able to point to this cut in the scalp. Now, that's bad news by the look of it. That heavily bandaged forearm of Joe Vagana looks like it's causing him a problem again. He's come ahead.
I think Joe's had a great season this year. He's really lifted his game, but I think the big thing about his game, why he's turned it around, is that they've left him on the field. Before he was only getting 5 and 10 minutes here and there. They leave him on for a lot longer, and he's playing a lot better football.
I think that can be said of a lot of the big men in the game. With the interchange, they're in and they're out.
Yeah, I think some guys are taking off too early. He's miles off the side there, Sonny Nickel.
This is Horrow. 33 metres out from his own line, and the Tom-Toms again strike up a tune. Guttenbeil hit hard on the 40-metre line by Wittenberg, who's on now. And this ball punched low, back for Crothers. Ellis is after him in 15.
It's an area that they've had some success with, Bradford, is running from dummy half. The Warrior players are really sprinting out both to one side and leaving a great big hole right up the middle.
Jeff Wittenberg carries a big name in rugby league, or in rugby league's past, Andrew.
He does indeed, son of John Wittenberg, the former Australian forward, and he finished his time in Australia with the South Queensland Crushers. And I've got to say, I did see him play a number of times, and his best work for the Crushers was off the bench. The only criticism he ever had of him, he always seemed to have a few problems with his hands, but there were times when he could be quite devastating.
Don't forget to tell me you saw John Wittenberg play quite a few times. Now, Auckland coming up with a mistake made by the Bradford side. Mark Horrow not held and able to take it back to the halfway line.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Paul Medley has picked up a serious arm injury in attempting that tackle as Auckland go wide. Mark Ellis getting outside of Koku. I don't think he'll beat him, and doesn't. Did a good job to stay in the field to play, Ellis. Medley still carrying his arm on the far side as Odenrine throws a bad pass. Crothers takes the rebound.
Well, I don't know if he thought he was a halfback there and was Odenrine, but there's no chance of ever being one. There was an absolute shocking pass.
Rayhana
Second, let him up.
required a strong tackle, and it was there, provided by Tuamavavi and Guttenbeil.
Well, now we've got a Koku down on this side of the field, so both wingers really struggling. Medley on the far side He's carrying a left arm. Good go and look over there. Dennis Beacock is running out of support. And the Koku here has also got a problem, as too, as we pointed out, Wagner.
Like an episode of ER or something at the moment. They're all over the place. Injuries and treatment being dished out as McNamara puts a kick in that is a mile too big. Landed out on the athletic track. Ericsson Stadium, of course. The venue of the...
Well, it's just like looking in a mirror for me.
You need one of those mirrors that make
In summer.
you need one of those mirrors that make you look bigger then. I don't know if you can get those lumps. You'll have to go to the doctor about that, that bloke.
This is Tua Mavavi.
He's built like Winford Christie. He's a monster.
Now, Kearney. Starting to worry about you two guys, as a matter of fact. Ridge. A cross and a hard pass. Odin Ryan angling back in, looking for some space. He hasn't had a lot of it. One thing's for sure, if he does see it, he'll put it over the line. He once matched it with Martin Offia in a head-on race at Parramatta Stadium, which Odin Ryan won. Joe, his pass for Namu to the defence line, and then he puts himself through a gap. Ridge looks for support, and Sean Hoppy gets number 2.
The scoreline continues to mount. Sean Hoppy gets another try. And really it's all coming too easy. And you expect that against the English sides. They are going to tire badly in the last 15 or 20 minutes. And that's an ominous sign. Just the dummy took the man through. Sean Hoppy, very, very good backer-upper in the game. Gene Namu throws the dummy. Sonny Nichols committed. Offloads to Matthew Ridge. He had 3 players on the outside to choose from, or the best option, Sean Hoppy on the inside, to improve the position.
Yeah, one thing with the defence there from the Bradford side, they only go up around about 2 to 3 metres, then they just put their feet out and they just stop. If you do that against any Australian side, as Matthew Ridge gets another 2 points on the scoreboard, you're going to come up second best. And Sonny Nichols show when you plant your feet, you can't move. And Gino just cut them apart. Just watch this as he goes to the line. They go up and then they stop. And then there's Reggie backing up. And inside is Sean Hoppy saying, thank you very much. Another 6-pointer.
So the half century is just 2 points away. 48 points to 14.
Quite remarkable to think that Sean Hoppy had such a bad season, or majority of a season, that saw him back in reserve grade. I think he's just one of the classiest wingers that we've seen run around for many a year, and amazing to think that he lost form or confidence that much that he couldn't force his way or keep his way in the top side.
Certainly one of the more accomplished wingers in the game, but who knows the reasoning behind that? Oh, that pass is a mile forward. Mike Forshaw.
They haven't had much of the ball, have they, Ray? And one thing you can't do against the Warriors or any other side in the Telstra Cup is that you give them too much ball, they are going to score points against you. And it's one thing that the Bradford side hasn't had much tonight is the ball. They've made more tackles and actually ran with it.
Here's this back of the scrum play that they tried to put on earlier. It led to a Bradford try on that occasion. Now, I think Bill Harrigan said held. He certainly was rather emphatic about it. 28 metres out from the line. Auckland, 48. Bradford, 14. Namu has had a strong game tonight. Ellis came into a second-man play, steps up the left foot twice and puts it over the strike.
Well, that's not fair, because I think you'll find that Stuart Spruce did touch him and he didn't stop right at the end there. Lovely lead up there. Second man play totally fooled the Bradford defence. This next pass now, that's a beauty. Nellis, left foot back inside. Well, Stuart Spruce, he mightn't have touched him.
I think he got his hair, Sterling. Once again, the Warriors going wide, just catching them out wide. I think the problem is you got Sonny Nicol out there in the centres with Graham Bradley, and they both start to slide on no one. And then he doesn't even throw a dummy, he just steps off his left foot twice. as you said, Spruce never actually got near him at all.
It's the best performance I've seen from Gene Namu tonight in a long time.
I think the big thing about it tonight, Ray, is that he's running with the ball with a lot more confidence. His forwards are going forward, making that good yardage down the middle of the ruck. He's getting out nice and wide, and he's got runners around him, either put people into holes or run into holes himself. They've got players running inside and outside, and once you do that, it's very easy when you're up against opposition that really are not tackling that good tonight at all.
There's never been any doubt about him excelling in an attacking game, but is there? I think if there's ever been a criticism about Gene Namu, it's been in his defence. So he's much more suited to a game where it's a high score line and plenty of free-flowing.
A bit of a Phil Blake comparison.
Well, look, you know, they're both fine players, but yeah, you've got to say that the big strength in Gene Namu's game is when he's got the football in his hands.
I still think what Gary Freeman was saying has got a lot of value. He can become introverted by big names around him. And I mean, tonight is probably a bad example, but we are watching Gene Namu high on confidence tonight. The ball out in front of him in two hands, making the opposition guess, not frightened to put himself into a gap or put players through a gap.
A good run there from Jeff Wittenberg. And just finally on Namu, the other surprising thing about him, as I was going through the stats before the game, he's only 23 years of age. He seems to have been around a lot longer than what he has been. He's got a major part of his career still in front of him. That's forward as well to Peacock. Play on here for Sean Hopping. Will he have the speed? No, he comes back inside. Support. Can't get to him. Good cover there.
But again, problems for Bradford, even from their own end of the park. Auckland spreading it quickly. Jones pushing it out wide behind Ellis. Odin Ryan taken on by Graham Bradley and will be made to play the ball. 22 metres out from the Auckland line. Odin Ryan getting up and with a smirk on his face, aimed at Graham Bradley. Something happened in there as Ridge gets a pass away, and you heard Bill Harrigan say it came off his melon as Anthony Swan makes a long run before somebody got a hand to him. Stephen Kearney puts in a kick. Namu coming from nowhere gets a kick in, but it's been raked in by the number 8 for Bradford.
He doesn't take many bad options, Stephen Kearney, but on that occasion the kick wasn't a particularly good one. He had a lot of players unmarked on his outside if he could have just thrown the cutout pass. Just watch this as he comes forward. See there Lee Odenrine, no one within 20 or 30 metres of him. Matthew Ridge throws the dummy. He's come back for a real play and slides through. All too simple.
Second try for Matthew Ridge. Many of them have got 2 beside their name now. Just while we've got a chance, Wagner, what's the report on him, Andrew?
Yeah, Ray, we saw a shot of him before with the ice pack on the left forearm. The Warriors doctor pretty confident there's nothing serious, so the Warriors will be at full strength for next weekend in the semi-finals of the World Club Challenge.
This is how this try came about.
Yeah, another Bradford mistake. Matthew Ridge picks it up, throws the dummy on the far side. The wingers continue for Bradford to stay with their man, and on the inside the Auckland players slide through. Trahana taking it forward, comes loose. And Matthew Ridge, a little bit of a goose step to start things off. Danny Peacock staying out, calling for his man on the inside to make the tackle. And Spruce must be getting sick and tired of seeing these Auckland Warriors coming at him and around him and through him and next to him.
38 points to 0 in this half. A broad smile on the face of Matthew Ridge. Bobby Lanigan has been with the Warriors a long time now, the trainer just darting off. He missed the kick from the sideline while we were in replay, 58-14. So they really have given them a lesson in the second half, just as some of us were thinking, including Matthew Elliott, the coach of Bradford, that there was some kind of resurgence at hand.
And in the first 15 or 20 minutes of this game, we didn't think that there was going to be such a scoreline mounting. We also pointed out that the last time these two sides met here, it was 64-14. The Warriors are only one converted try away from that exact scoreline, and that would be something of a coincidence.
Anderson. And I know you've heard us sing his praises several times tonight, but in a badly beaten side, he really has hit the ball up with a lot of enthusiasm and often. One of the Auckland players who didn't play at the ball. Bill Harrigan's hand still in the air, motionless. And it's gone out on the last tackle, so...
Don't know really what that... Sorry, Ray.
No, you're okay. I'm just about to give the crowd 12,063 here at Ericsson tonight.
I just don't understand what sort of kick they were trying to put in there, the Bradford Bulls. They tried to kick it before along the ground, probably slow the game down. Then they just kicked it straight across field. I don't know who it was meant for, but actually I don't think they even knew who it was meant for.
With a push and shove, and Dennis Betts on the end of it. Stacey Jones. Not held in the first, barely held in the second before Wittenberg arrives. We've got under 4 minutes to go. Auckland bound for the semi-finals.
6 again!
That's right, 6 again, says Bill Harrigan, as you saw it came from Kearney back to a Bradford ball. Now Horro, he makes a long run, 38 metres out from the line. Bradford struggling to pick up some straight line defence. Kearney turning a ball inside for Odin Ryan. And that's exactly where Bradford were hoping they might go. It's the only place on the field they had a chance of stopping them. Now they go wide, maybe a fraction late. Jones, across for Tuamavavi, away from a shocking attempted tackle, pulled in by Nickel, knocked on then by Stephen Kearney, one of the few blemishes on his game.
Well, I'm glad to see that breakdown because I didn't think it should have been 6 again for Auckland. I thought Stephen Kearney lost the football forward before it was touched by Bradford and regained by the home team. Kearney disappointed with himself there. He could see another try looming.
I think the other reason with the Bradford Bulls, I think Robbie Paul, as we've already said, he's a better 5'8" than he is halfback. He needs someone inside him to control the game, get him out a bit wider so he get players running off him. I think that's what they've lacked in that area.
On his face, here, and push him into the ground. It's not on.
Penalty was against Guttenbeil in the old vernacular for a facial massage. Tomorrow night's telecast, Brisbane Broncos and St Helens, 11:20 for Sydney. Check your local guides though in other centres. But one thing is for certain, Auckland will be in the semi-finals against one of them, Guttenbeil. Right in the centre of the park. Beautifully prepared again by the people at the Warriors. Now Odin Ryan with some space. Spruce can't stop him. Gets it away to the support. And Swan will go in and put it over behind the line. Anthony Swan. So it looks very much like that scoreline is going to be reenacted. Quite incredible. 64-14 the last time they played here, and when this is converted there'll be 90 seconds to go, if that, and the scoreline the same.
We must have seen 3 or 4 tries come from Bradford mistakes at the very least. That time Jeff Wittenberg lost the football. Lee Odenrine did very, very well to run off Stacey Jones into the gap and then eventually find the try scorer, Swan. Horro throws out, in fact it's Kearney who offloads to Lee Odenrine, brushes through Spruce's tackle and offloads as he's claimed.
Steve Kearney certainly is led by example. And he's missed the kick at goal. Yep, he scored that one, Anthony Swan.
Well, there it was on replay. And he missed it. Which makes me ask the question, was it Ridge that took the kick?
No, it was Sean Hoppy.
Well, how did he get involved in it?
Wingers, mate. Yeah, he's got to have a kick sooner or later.
Well, that's the third restart of a similar nature by Matthew Ridge. It hasn't paid off for him. But here we were sitting back thinking, what odd 64-14, and that man, Sean Hoppy, has spoilt the script.
No, I wasn't sitting back thinking that. I knew that it wouldn't finish that.
Thank you, Nostradamus. 62 points to 14. 11 tries to 2. Hoppy got 2, Ridge got